48 hours before my wedding, the chandelier over the Royal Crest lobby burned like captured daylight, and the marble felt cold through my shoes. His mother glided toward me in white gloves and a practiced smile. She didn't raise her voice. "You don't belong here," she said. Security held a printed list with my name struck through by a thick line. Laughter from the rehearsal drifted down the corridor. Crystal tapping crystal. I unzipped a leather folder and slid out one page. Embossed seal, blue ribbon, signatures that looked like small oaths. The deed. It flashed in the light like a drawn blade. "You're right," I said softly. "I don't belong here. I own here." I grew up above a family shop that smelled like cardboard and cinnamon from the bakery next door. I learned to add columns by the shadow of street lights on receipt paper, and I liked clocks that told the same truth twice. I managed small places where travelers sleep, clean sheets, honest invoices, staff who learn names. It isn't glamorous. It's a promise that renews each night. I met my fiancé at a seminar where people pretended the future could be graphed. He asked if I'd eaten. He thanked me for keeping lights from failing exactly when people needed them. He said we could be a team, and that word felt like a spare key I'd been carrying without knowing. When we announced the engagement, his family entered like a lobby staged for a magazine shoot. His mother could quiet a room with one eyebrow. His aunt smiled with a locked door kind of smile. His cousin laughed too loudly whenever money was the punchline. At dinners, they called me hard-working, the way people praise a machine. "Thank you for spinning." They liked restaurants where the chairs weighed more than the portions, and they said family as if it were a luxury brand they owned. The red flags planted themselves. His mother mapped my finances with questions that sounded like surveys. Savings, assets, what was in my name. His aunt circled the idea of shares, as if love required quarterly reporting. His cousin bragged about a family-only discount at the Royal Crest, as if marrying into them came with a coupon, and the coupon was me. My fiancé touched my shoulder in the car and said, "Ignore it. They want the best for me." I made a note on my phone and titled it, "Red Flags." The rehearsal dinner glowed warm and lemon bright. At the hostess stand, a woman in black stepped in front of me. "I'm sorry. Private event. Your name isn't on the list," I texted my fiancé. Delivered. No reply. His mother drifted closer, perfume expensive and far away. "Families want the best," she murmured. "It's awkward when someone doesn't fit." She nodded to security. The line through my name looked like an incision made by someone who had practiced. Earlier that afternoon, I had asked the front desk if the list was final. "We were told to filter by the family name and remove yours," the supervisor said. I'd tapped record without ceremony. On the audio, you can hear the printer, the shuffle of paper, and my breath learning to hold steady. Outside, rain came down in straight, audit-clean lines. It sounded like a receipt feeding through a machine that only told the truth. I let it sting my face until the sting felt like waking up. At home, I set the leather folder on the table and waited for the kettle to finish speaking. Then I called the lawyer who once rescued a small building from a slow, quiet death. The lawyer remembered me by how I pronounce numbers when I'm tired. "Interesting," they said. "Ownership shifted to a quiet trust, conservative structure, invisible on purpose." My name had been edited out of a dinner. My voice had been edited into a deal. I opened a tin box of letters labeled for heavy days. One note from a mentor read, "When you are ready to hold something steady, Open the file marked RC. The RC file smelled like paper that believed in itself. A trust instrument, and a power of direction naming me as the controlling beneficiary of the hotel's operating entity. Signatures, witnesses, dates, aligned like a spine. A letter on top. You kept a building alive when others gave up. One day, someone will try to make you feel small inside it. Stand up. The general manager called with a voice trained to carry both policy and kindness. We received notice from the trustee, she said. Before you issue directives, there's something you should see. Email arrived like weather. The wedding account tied to his family had been adjusted out of policy. Unauthorized discounts. Kitchen staff pushed into unpaid extensions. A florist told to absorb costs because the family is prominent. The internal audit was clear. An email chain, an ops spreadsheet, a list of names and hours and small dignities made smaller. Special privilege had been claimed in my name and used against me. Integrity was on the chopping block, not just my place at dinner. 36 hours to the ceremony. I texted the manager, "Thank you. Please hold all irreversible changes. I will come with counsel." She replied, "We will do what is right, carefully." I asked my fiancé to meet me at a cafe near the hotel. He arrived late, hair damp, expression trying to stand in two places at once. "My mother wants perfection," he began. I slid my phone across, screenshots, then trust documents. "You're connected to the hotel?" he asked, as if the question were a charge. "Not connected," I said. "Responsible." He stared into his cup. "Don't embarrass my mother." I pressed play, his mother instructing staff to remove my name, the supervisor confirming, the printer letting paper go like a blade leaving its sheath. He listened to the end. "Don't ruin the wedding," he said, and walked out. We drafted a letter that sounded like a weather report for a building. Effective immediately. Operations revert to policy. Staff scheduling corrected with back pay. Vendor pricing restored. Guest lists governed by one principle. The bride is not removable. I printed a stack that refused to bend and placed them in an envelope that remembered ceremony. In the ballroom, centerpieces reached a height confusion could hide behind. His mother signaled security as if the room were an instrument. The general manager and counsel opened the envelope. Under the chandelier, the seal looked like the truth, seen up close. "Under the trust," counsel said evenly. "Her directives govern guest access and event terms, within policy and law." Silence widened, and a single rose slipped from a vase to the floor. "The ceremony proceeds," I said to staff and vendors, "with 3 changes. First, the bride receives VIP respect. Second, pricing and labor return to policy. No off-book discounts, no unpaid extensions. Third, no name is removed without my written consent." His mother flushed. "You dare?" "I have to," I answered. "This building belongs to people who do their work and are respected for doing it. That includes me." The chef brought a ledger. We restored numbers to the shape of truth. Back pay scheduled. Signatures gathered. The florist's eyes were red. We reinstated her contracted rate. Ribbon whispered against ribbon. His cousin asked about a family rate. "The family rate is respect," I said. His aunt said I had embarrassed them. "I corrected a ledger," I replied. "Sometimes you don't like the shade of the pen." My fiancé stepped from behind a floral screen, hands in his pockets, eyes tired. You won. What more do you want? A public apology, I said. For staff. For me. For you, because you let fear write on us. He cleared his throat and faced the room. He apologized for asking people to bend what shouldn't bend, for making me fight for a seat at my own table. No one clapped. They nodded, and that meant more. The manager announced transparency and respect, no exceptions. New event terms posted, guest list governance posted, vendor payment schedule posted, copies furnished. The chandelier lit different faces now. The florist, the dishwasher, the guard who had crossed out my name and knew it was wrong. Light found me, too, and I didn't feel victorious. I felt returned. In the bridal suite, I laid the dress on the bedspread like a map and placed the leather folder on the nightstand. I pressed my palm to the window and listened to the city propose itself in neon. I wrote 3 lines on a card. Be kind. Be clear. Stand up. Morning arrived early. I ate toast because voices need bread. Downstairs, the staff moved like choreography finally allowed to be dancing. Guests took their seats. The aisle looked less like a path and more like a sentence. Do you. I do. We will. My fiancé waited at the end like someone rehearsing forgiveness in a mirror. The music began. Halfway down, I stopped and let the room lean toward me like a question. I will keep my promises, I said, but not the ones that require me to vanish. If we marry today, it will be because we both know how to stand up. His face shifted into an emotion that finally fit the room. You shouldn't have had to fight, he said. And you did. I acted like permission was love. I'm sorry. We finished the walk together. The officiant looked relieved, which is what you want in anyone holding a script. We spoke simple vows, the ones that didn't erase me. The room held. The chandelier approved. Staff smiled without needing to hide it. We signed the register and did not sign any new permissions disguised as tradition. The chef, florist, and manager countersigned corrected documents because fairness gets stronger as more hands touch it. At the reception, people ate what they paid for, and nothing was shaved from anyone's paycheck. We danced without dancing around anything. His mother watched from a table lowered to normal height. She stood eventually and thanked the chef and the florist. It wasn't an apology. It was practice. Practice counts. Later, in a quiet hallway that smelled like lemon leaves and electricity, I opened the leather folder and looked at the deed again. I didn't feel powerful. I felt responsible, in a way that squared my shoulders. If anyone draws a black line through your name, remember, ink crosses paper, not people. You can walk away from permission. You can walk toward belonging. Sometimes the difference is a sentence you say out loud in a room that never expected to hear you. The morning after, the hotel seemed pleased. The lobby plants looked better watered. Staff said congratulations in the tone reserved for peers. My husband made coffee and didn't ask me to explain why fairness takes time. He offered to meet the manager about a scholarship fund for hospitality workers in honor of the night policy remembered. It was a promise. We watched taxis carry other people's stories away, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like I had to chase mine. I wrote to the mentor whose letter had waited in the tin box. Thank you for trusting me with a building and with myself. You were right. Maintenance and justice are sometimes the same act at different volumes. I chose the louder volume when it mattered. I'll be quiet again when it's kind. I'll be loud again when it's necessary. I sealed the envelope and felt how a seal can be a gentle kind of strength. Before we checked out, I walked the back corridors where hotels keep their secrets. Laundry, staff rooms, the place where days begin before the lobby knows it. I thanked people by name. Names are receipts you sign daily. A dishwasher laughed and said, "It was nice to win." "We didn't win," I answered. We corrected the math. Weeks later, I keep a small copy of the deed folded in my wallet, not because I need paper, but because I like the feeling. Something is yours because someone believed you could carry it. When the world tries to shrink me, I hold it up to the light, and it glows in the exact places that matter. If you're listening because someone drew a line through your name, and you don't know whether to walk away or walk back in, here is a blueprint that bends for no one. Be kind, be clear, stand up, fix the ledger, sign what matters, refuse to vanish. Then go where you belong. It will feel like a lobby you helped build, honest floors, good light, and your name exactly where it should be, printed and unbroken, the first guest on the right list.